children can impact social change or can create a set of mind, not only for the future, I think including the parents. How can they bring about change? Why are they so important that they will bring change?
We talk about children as the future of a country. But it is very important right now that we mold them in such a way that they secure their present so that they make their own challenges and they control their own challenges. And that is how that, as you have asked, that children, as you have asked about the fun, in the classroom. Now, when we have children in the class, you cannot restrict certain subjects with respect to fun. What is happening is learning by doing is something which we have incorporated in our studies, in our curriculum, where every subject where you go for, it is learning by doing, learning by fun. That is what,
Yeah, and I think that's a very important part. We always keep talking about, and for parents, it's, is it off, school time over? I think that's a very, very important part she makes, that we think of children as just the future. We never realize how important it is that they should be secure in their present. Because if they're secure in their present, the choices, the decisions they will take actually is going to make for a better future. But if they're not secure now, if they don't feel happy, they don't feel satisfied, they're disturbed, they don't know what's happening around them, they're not focused, I think the future itself starts getting very tainted. So I think instead of looking for kids as a future that we are looking forward to and hoping for them to emulate parents and become doctors because we wish them to, sportsmen because we want them to, I think we just need to make them secure as to what they're doing now. I think that's extremely important. Again, because I can't choose who to answer, who to ask this, but do you think kids are getting smarter in terms of so many other things, like specifically environment? My kids come back from school, not even now they're older, but when they were younger too, I found them being extremely aware of environment. Unlike, sad to say, I wasn't at all.
I think most schools today around the country are very conscious about global warming and are very conscious about what's happening. So you will see small things that schools do. For example, in our school at Podar, it's 150 hours of community service is mandatory, and part of it is also protecting the environment. So they come up with solar cookers, and that's a new concept. And they actually learn how to cook using solar cookers. They also learn small things like saving water. And we were doing an inquiry-based learning on water. And this mother called up and said, I'm so happy to see that my child actually fired the maid servant for keeping the tap open and washing clothes. So
I get fired for that while shaving a lot.
And putting off lights. I think, it's so much instilled at school that definitely it makes a great impact on the larger community, which is very important because we know what's happening in today's time. And I think it's very important to instill these kind of values in today's kids. Difficult, they do pool, we do encourage them to carpool, use the school bus, and try our best to initiate. But I must say, they go back home and they correct their grandparents, the maids, and the parents.
You tell me, I was asking, are the kids smarter nowadays, not just on subjects like environment because they're being taught that, but are they basically smarter? Have they evolved to be a smarter species? And if they have, then how can teachers be teaching them if they're smarter than us already?
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but I find it difficult now to teach my son, who's, of course, post-10th, but even when he was a 7th and 8th, it became difficult for me to teach, and I was a good student. I was a good I studied hard.
Let me tell you, you're a wonderful father.
Thank you.
Well, before I answer your question, one of the things I think is really important is someone like Shah Rukh, with his schedule, made time to come to school for every function, for every special event, every time his kids needed him. He was there. So I think we admire you more in the avatar of being a fabulous father than for anything else.
No, don't say that. People stop watching my films.
Kids, kids have become more aware. Whether they've become smarter or not, obviously the brain's got a little bit more evolved. But I find it fascinating that when I was a 16-year-old visiting here from Australia, I was trendy cool. But today you go to the interiors of India, everyone's trendy cool. I think because of the internet, access to information, just the whole world's become more aware, just not just kids, everybody. But yeah, kids today, I think parents like you are not operating with kids out of from a space of fear, where kids are befriending you rather than, being scared of you as a parent. And therefore, I think kids have got a lot more confident. They question a lot more. Somebody once said, kangaroo kids are very arrogant. And I said, could you explain what you mean? And she said, well, anything you ask them, they say, why? Go to sleep, why? Eat your dinner, why? I said, well, if the parents stop to answer, kids would stop questioning. But yeah, kids question a lot more today than they used to.
I think that's a point all parents and everyone should take in mind, that somehow through evolution, or maybe the efforts that people have made over the years, maybe the parents and grandparents, kids are becoming smarter, and we need to treat them as equals. We need to allow them to be able to, I always say there's the two things that children should be allowed to say openly is why and I don't know. Because we scare our children too much that, listen, if you don't have the ability to say I don't know, I don't think you'll have the ability to learn. And that's an important part. I'd carry on, maybe the last question, then we'll move on to, I'd like to know how are there any thoughts that you have in mind, apart from obviously parents doing it, teachers doing it, but in general day to day, to create a little more community awareness amongst children. We'll have efforts like this. Unfortunately, India does not have enough. Inshallah, as the years go by, people will develop that. But is there any other thoughts that you have on developing community awareness between children, so that we have a better community as they grow older?
Before I go for that, let me share a small experience that I have. My children visited Kidzania last month, and there was this child, 6 years old. He comes to me and says, Madam, is it possible that we stay back at Kidzania and come back home next day? With a hope and, tingling in the eyes, I thought, let me not despair him. So I said, yes, dear, I will really speak to the management of Kidzania and get back to you. And next time when we have the picnic at Kidzania, we will really see that we have a one-day stay. So this is the platform where I get across, so that I put this point towards the management. And regarding the community service, change is inevitable. So children are the agent, as we always know. So every small thing that we do in the classroom has to reflect in the actions they do outside, whether it is towards their household members or towards the society. As ma'am has already pointed out, maybe the cleanliness ideas, or maybe about the global warming. So these are the various topics, and maybe about the security of each and every child. So that is very important. So we are highlighting that through various indoor and outdoor activities. Maybe this is one concept that has been introduced by Kidzania. So where children of 6 years old, they don't know what a career is. But after they visit Kidzania, they know that it is not only MBBS or not only engineering. It is something like the child comes to me and says, ma'am, I would like to be a chef after making a donut here. So I think that's a good change. So this awareness can be spread to all the other children who are put across.
Can I just add one thing? We're all...
You'd like to add on, their parents here, or any other aspect that I have not touched upon? I mean, the subject is very vast, we can go on and on. But keeping paucity of time in mind, I'm also not to push you too much, to give, everyone think teachers are giving lectures at Kidzania instead of having fun. So if there's anything else you'd like to add
Maybe you can share some of your experiences in your school days, what really made you be what you are today. And I'm sure many children in the audience look up to you. So what's that one thing, Shah Rukh, that took you to where you are today?